Hello? Are we back? Hello, guys. Are we here? Hello? Is everything working? You're back. I'm back. Yes. I don't know what happened. It was so crazy. But yes, I'm here. Mm-mm. Mm-hmm. Let me check out my stream through my phone. Make sure it's working just right. Because I cannot see through the computer. One second, one second. Also, like I said before, I want to I want to wait just a little bit for the people wanted to listen um to the story, because there were some people that were excited to, you know, hear the narration of the lore. So you're gonna sit here for just another minute or two. um Rex, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate your presence. Crafty, hello. Uh, I mean, você pode falar português, né, de vez em quando, porque você não sabe inglês, é normal. Só que a gente tenta manter a maior parte, né, da live em inglês mesmo, porque essa é a live americana. So, let's see. Let's see here. What have we gotten? So let's wait just a little bit more. So what do you guys think about the background and the sound effects? Do you like it? I wanted to find a interesting, cozy like background to tell stories. If I ever do any more streams narrating something, I want it to be like this. Uh, you know, cozy. I wanted to give it a feeling of comfort, relaxation, and to me, it was very important that the place had a fireplace, because I really love the crackling of the fireplace. And I also thought it would be interesting to have some rain outside, because personally, I love to read when it's raining, when the sky is all gray and the sun is hiding, and it just feels so good. So I got this background and I thought it was absolutely perfect, because there's some shelves over there with the books, there's the fireplace going, some candles, the chair, the rain outside the window. I don't know, everything about this place felt perfect. So I thought it would be a great addition to the stream. Hmm. It's kind of sad that this background cannot. Oh, here. There you go. Now we have the same background on TikTok as well. That's awesome. So, Rex, what do you think? Do you like the background? Mm-hmm. Guys, I'm so sorry for not being able to start sooner. Because I do Hi, Mr. Yoru. Welcome, welcome. Are you ready to practice your English? I'm gonna start reading soon, guys. So, do you like the background? Come on. Come on, come on. I need what's the word? I need I need acceptance. I need compliments. Mm. Validation. Oh my god. How did I forget that word? I need outside validation. Please tell me my background is beautiful and perfect. Please. I helped a friend to a test and he got an A plus. Ooh, look at you. What was the subject of the test? What are you good at? The background is awesome. Oh, thank you. Do you like the fireplace and the ring? Isn't it neat? And I got the fireplace and ring um background music as well. Everything is just so cozy and delicious. Doo-doo-doo. I think I'm going to have to start here really soon. I don't want to wait too much. It does. It feels so comfy, especially if you're retired. You can just sit on this couch and read books all day and eating snacks. Oh my god, just thinking about it feels so good. Mm. This is awesome. Um, hold on. Let me text someone that are supposed to be here. Stream on. Ooh, let me also, because there are some people that were interested. Some people that are interested in the story. You know, my character's lore. So I don't want to start too soon and have most people miss everything, but I also can't wait too long. So let's see. Oh. Oh my god. Okay. I think I'm going to start in 1 minute. Once we hit the 10-minute mark. Maybe. Probably. Most likely. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Come on, people. Come on, people. Come on. Join us. I don't know why I'm yawning so much. I hate it. Yoru, you never answered me. What did you help your friend with? Which subject are you good at? Okay, it's been 10 minutes. So I'm gonna start reading now. Let me prepare my heart. I don't know if I'm ready for this. Actually. Oh shoot. Hold on. I disconnected the cable. I'm so sorry, Yorda. I'm glad you glad you're back. I was talking to you the whole time. Hold on. Ha ha ha. Very funny, Nick. You better shut the fuck up, okay? We say nothing here. Okay, let me get started. We are at the 11-minute mark and you just missed the story. Long ago, in this very land, the Fae lived in harmony. Peace flourished. Unity bound them together, and nature remained in perfect balance. But everything changed when the legendary three came of age. They say that among the Fae, three remarkable individuals once walked these lands. The first one was kind and generous, always ready to aid those in need. The second was intelligent and intuitive, guided by an unshakable wisdom. The third was ambitious and cunning, ever striving for more. They were inseparable until the day their powers awakened. When the Fae comes when the Fae comes of age, their elemental affinity reveals itself, shaping their future. The first friend, however, developed no affinity, an uncommon but not unheard of fate. Fae without elemental gifts often face silent struggles, as connection to the elements was deeply valued. Yet, he was beloved by all and remained content with his life. The second friend gained an affinity for air, and with it, his wings unfurled. Overcome with joy, he took to the skies immediately, soaring high with newfound freedom, leaving his friends below. The third friend, like the first, developed no affinity, but unlike the first, he did not accept his fate. Seeing his friends embrace their destinies stirred something dark within him: jealousy, envy, resentment. He withdrew from them, isolating himself in his growing discontent. No one knows how, but in his thirst for power, he unearthed something long sealed away, a force imprisoned since ancient times, locked away for reasons forgotten by most. But he did not hesitate. He broke the seal. Power unlike anything he had imagined consumed him, twisting his very essence. He had sought strength, but what he had unleashed was something far, far greater, something uncontrollable, and thus the incarnation of chaos was born. Yet power alone was not enough. He hungered for dominion, gathering those who, like him, desired more. He promised them strength and luxury at the cost of others' suffering. His army grew, and with it, his ambition. He believed the Fae, peaceful and untested by war, would crumble before him easily. But he was wrong. As his forces marched upon the village, he was met not with fear, but with an army of equal might. His second friend had been watching, sensing the change in him long before. Knowing he could not face him unprepared, he sought power of his own. His search, le- his search, his search led him deep into forgotten caverns and treacherous peaks, where ancient carvings whispered secrets in the past of the past. He risked everything to reach the highest summit where light itself pulsed within the stone. As he stepped into it, the radiance consumed him, searing through his body with unbearable force. But he did not resist, and thus the incarnation of order was born. Some say the war between them lasted for decades. Others claim it raged for centuries. No one knows for certain, but what is known is this. Too many Fae perished, and nothing would ever be the same again. The first friend could do nothing but watch as the years passed, powerless to stop the conflict. He had tried time and time again to reason with them, to remind them of the bond they once shared, but his words always fell on deaf ears. Then, one day, he made one final attempt. He called for a meeting, hoping to bring his friends together one last time to mend what they had been broken. But when he arrived at their agreed meeting place, he was met with a sight that would haunt him forever. The second and third lay motionless, side by side. They had destroyed each other. Falling to his knees, he let out a scream, a sound so full of sorrow that it pierced the hearts of all who heard it. He blamed himself, convinced that if he had tried harder, if he had done more, this tragedy could have been avoided. And then nature answered. A sudden jolt of pain shot through his body, forcing him onto his back. His limbs twisted as a pulsing agony overtook him. A splitting headache grew stronger, sharper, until, with one final surge of unbearable pain, a pair of horns erupted from his head. Then silence. The pain faded, replaced by something new. A current, like flowing water, surged within him, washing away his suffering. He felt it. Power. Not a gift of destruction like his fallen friends, but something greater, something undeniable. Thus, the High Fae was born. Still reeling, he stumbled to his feet. He screamed once more, a cry of grief and longing. But this time, the world itself responded. The earth trembled. The ground cracked open. Trees toppled and creatures fled in terror. The Fae fell to their knees, unable to withstand the sheer force of it. And then, with a final cataclysmic rupture, the land split apart, forever dividing the Fae into three realms. From that day forward, the Fae lands were no longer one. The land of order, where light reigned, the land of chaos, where darkness ruled, and the heart of it all, the royal grounds, where the High Fae resided, ruler of all. Legends tell that whoever develops horns will be a direct descendant of the first and destined to reunite the Fae at last. But it has been generations since horns were last seen. Still, some hold on to hope, whispering that the time will soon come, that perhaps the answer lies within the current royal family. Water break. Hold on. Do you actually believe any of that? Akarin asked, her skeptical gaze fixed on her older sister. Don't you? Akarin shrugged. I don't know. It all feels a little far fetched. Who even wrote this? How could anyone possibly know every detail of what happened? She leaned back onto the grass of their garden, resting her hands behind her head as she stared at the clouds above. Many Fae came together to piece the story together. her sister replied. I say you need a little more faith, little sister. Who knows? Maybe you be the one to inherit the horns. She chuckled, poking Acheron's nose. As if that would ever happen. Acheron laughed, playfully pushing her sister away. They were as close as sisters could be. Some would say inseparable. But it was more than just the bond of family. They were each other's everything. At times, the youngest sister couldn't help but feel a pang of jealousy. But in truth, she bore some responsibility for the distance between them. She chose solitude, spending her days buried in books, secluded within the vast halls of the library while her sisters forged their bond. To them, she felt like a stranger, distant, unreachable, cold, and that hurt more than she knew. But there was nothing they could do. She was consumed by her obsession, drawn to something beyond their understanding. They had tried to reach her before, to remind her that they were still there, but it never mattered. If anyone dared to suggest that she was lost in her own world, she would lash out without hesitation. Her sisters had learned that the hard way, and so the gap between them remained. If the story was true, the only one who could possibly inherit the horns would be you, big sis. You're the only one who belongs in that role. Acheron's gaze remained fixed on the sky, her voice carrying a certainty she didn't fully understand. Her older sister watched her in silence, a soft expression crossing her face. Oh, my beloved sister, she thought. You are the only one who cannot see the light that burns inside you. My only wish is that one day you will. Acheron finally turned her head, catching her sister's intense stare. Stop that, weirdo! She yelped, scrambling to her feet. With a playful shove, she darted away, leaving laughter in her wake. Her sister remained where she was, watching the garden sway gently in the breeze. She had no way of knowing how soon that peace would be shattered. In the royal office, the king and queen were locked in a heated dispute.
And what do you expect me to do? Run away like a pathetic coward?
The king growled, his fist clenching at his sides.
If that's what it takes to protect my family, then yes.
The queen shot back, her voice sharp with frustration.
Or better yet, set out to destroy the Chaos Lands once and for all. They bring nothing but trouble. I am the king!
He roared, his voice echoing through the chamber.
I rule over all. My duty is to maintain the balance among the Fae. Turning my back at the first sign of trouble would not be only shameful, but a disgrace to my blood. This time is different and you know it.
The queen spat through gritted teeth. They've been spotted moving in ways they never have before, whispering in the shadows that you're planning something worse than ever before. His patience frayed. The king exhaled sharply.
Then we find what they are plotting and crush it before it comes to fruition.
When is that going to happen? She demanded, her eyes blazing.
You've been watching them for months, and the only thing you have to show for it are the scouts that never returned. Don't you think I know that?
The king roared, losing himself in the heat of the argument. Silence fell. The queen stood frozen, staring at him in shock. He had never raised his voice at her before. The realization of his outburst hit him instantly. But it was too late. The damage had already been done. She inhaled deeply, straightened her dress, and forced composure back into her voice.
I truly hope you know what you're doing, she said coldly, before turning on her heel and walking out. But what neither of them knew was just how late they already were. The Chaos Fae had indeed been preparing something. Something beyond imagination. For centuries they had hungered for the downfall of the royal family. But their power was too absolute, too untouchable. Any who dared to challenge them had vanished without a trace, erased from existence before they could even strike. So they adapted through relentless research, trial, and error. They had finally created something, a being stripped of weakness, an unstoppable force, a soldier that did not feel pain, did not feel hunger, did not feel anything. The perfect, a walking corpse, the perfect weapon to wage war against the all powerful royal bloodline. But what they failed to consider was the law that governed all things. Nature demands balance, and for every power granted, something must be taken in return. Their sins would bring devastation upon the world once more. At the royal palace, supper was a cherished time, a moment for the family to come together, no matter what obligations had occupied them during the day. Girls, pack your things. We are going to visit your grandparents,
The queen announced, taking a bite of her food. What gives, Mama? It's such an exhausting trip, the eldest sister groaned.
It's been far too long since we last saw them. It's only right that we visit.
But Akarin's birthday is coming up. She's coming of age. We need to hold a grand celebration.
How dare you question the queen's orders? You are as ill-mannered as a beast,
The youngest sister muttered without looking up from her book. Meanwhile, Akarin was too preoccupied stuffing her face with food to bother with the discussion. Tonight's meal was delicious. The cook had prepared her favorite dish, and all the palace servants had been treating her like true royalty in anticipation of her coming of age ceremony. After all, discovering one's powers was one of the most important moments in a Fae's life.
I don't believe she'll mind,
The queen said dismissively. Then her gaze sharpened.
Now you! Put that book down this instant. And you! The food is not going anywhere. Stop acting like a starving beast. I do.
Akarin mumbled through a mouthful of food. The queen shot her a look so piercing that she quickly swallowed before speaking again. I do want a celebration. The queen's expression shifted, skeptical.
How come? You've never cared about such formalities before.
Well, this time is different. It's my coming of age. I'll finally become a complete Fae. And that's of extreme importance, isn't it?
I don't think that's...
Mama, please! The eldest sister interjected, eyes pleading. We can't take this away from Akarin. Papa, help us here, please. The king, who had been sitting in thoughtful silence, barely lifted his gaze from his plate.
Let the girls have their celebration. It's not like the world's gonna... It's ending tomorrow,
He said, his voice heavy with weariness. The queen shot him a sharp, disapproving glare, but he seemed too lost in his own thoughts to notice. Papa, are you unwell? The youngest sister asked, her voice laced with concern. Of all her family members, she was closest to her father. She spent most of her time in his library, and through their shared love of books, they had forged a strong bond. The king offered her a half smile.
Oh, no, no. Nothing to concern yourself with, my dear. You should focus on being a princess.
Then, pushing his chair back, he stood.
I'm going back to the royal office. There's still work to do. We'll postpone the trip until after the ceremony. The girls need normalcy.
Without another word, he turned and walked away. The sisters exchanged wide, triumphant smiles. They had won. But the youngest couldn't shake that unease curling in her stomach. Something was off about the king tonight. Still, she knew better than to ask. No one would take her seriously. She was the youngest, after all, always seen as the baby of the family. And if she were honest, much of the attention was always on Acheron anyway. Mischievous, troublesome Acheron. At the head of the table, the queen sat in stiff silence, her displeasure palpable. She finished her meal without saying another word. Then, setting down her utensils, she rose to her feet.
I'm heading back to my chambers.
She said coldly before sweeping from the room. Later that evening, the youngest daughter lay restless in her bed, her mind haunted by the look on her father's face at supper. Something was wrong. She could feel it deep in her bones. And if no one else would tell her the truth, she would find it herself. Slipping out from under her covers, she grabbed a candle and lit it, shooting the small flame with her hand as she cracked her bedroom door open. The king's headquarters were on the far side of the palace, which meant she would have to move carefully. She was no troublemaker like her middle sister. Sneaking around was not her forte, but tonight she had no choice. She patted down the walls, keeping close to the She patted down the halls, keeping close to the walls, her ears straining for the slightest sound. At every corner, she hesitated, peeking before stepping forward. Twice she had to press herself behind a pillar to avoid servants making their rounds. Her heart pounded so loudly she feared it would give her away. For a brief moment, she almost respected her middle sister's reckless nature. Almost. When she finally reached her father's study, she noticed the door wasn't fully shut. That wasn't like him. He must have been exhausted when he left, she thought cautiously, pushing it open just enough to slip inside. The room smelled of parchment and candle wax. The fireplace had burned low, casting long shadows across the bookshelves that lined the walls. She moved straight to his desk, her hands shaking as she sifted through the documents. She was no stranger to state affairs. Her love of reading had led her to study old records long ago. She knew what to look for. She would recognize if something was out of place. But everything seemed normal. She leaned back in his chair, exhaling in frustration. What are you hiding, Papa? She murmured under her breath. Then something caught her eye, a crumpled piece of parchment near the curtains. Her stomach tightened as she reached for it, carefully unfolding the wrinkled notes. Her eyes scanned the inked words, and as she read, her breath hitched. "They are coming here," she whispered, the weight of the words settling over her like a heavy cloak. She had no doubt. She had no doubt now why her father hadn't kept this hidden. But what could she do? Running to her sisters was out of the question. They would never believe her. Not with their parents pretending everything was under control.
No, she would have to find another way. Straightening her back, she made her decision. Acheron had to abandon her celebration. Their only chance was to leave the palace and travel east to their grandparents before it was too late. She then spent every day shadowing Acheron, relentlessly trying to talk her out of it. At first, her older sister was irritated, brushing off the interference with an exasperated sigh. She knew she couldn't get away with as much mischief as she pleased with her youngest sister trailing behind her. Too righteous, too serious, too much of a rule follower to ever be any fun. But over time, something unexpected happened. What began as an annoyance turned into amusement. She entertained herself by leading her little sister on endless chases, playing hide and seek just to watch her fret, teasing her until her patience wore thin. Every dramatic sign, every frustrated glare, every time she ran her fingers through her hair in exasperation. It was all too much fun. And so she indulged playing her sister like a finely tuned instrument until she swore she saw strands of white hair in her dark locks. Yet, despite her best efforts, the younger sister failed. The celebration could not be stopped. The grand ballroom was a vision of opulence, filled with the finest nobles gathered to witness the princess coming of age. Laughter and music echoed against the high ceilings, the scent of extravagant feasts wafting through the air. Guests danced, chattered, and toasted to the future of the kingdom, all awaiting the moment that would mark Acheron's passage into adulthood. Midnight then arrived. As tradition dictated, Acheron stepped into the center of the ballroom, where the ceiling had been magically parted to reveal the night sky. The silver moon bathed her in its glow, the stars shimmering like scattered diamonds above. She closed her eyes, opened her arms, tilted her head back, and waited. For once, the wild, reckless princess was still a rare sight. 1 minute passed, then two, then three, then five. Nothing. A flicker of uncertainty passed through the crowd. Murmurs stirred like a rising wind. Acheron cracked one eye open, stealing a glance at the sky. The moon still shone, the stars twinkled. Everything was as it should be. Any time now, she whispered, more to herself than to anyone else. 10 minutes, still nothing. The whispers grew louder. Confusion spread. The moment that should have defined her future was slipping through her fingers, like sand. Something was wrong. Perhaps she has no affinity? A voice murmured from the crowd. A hush fell over the ballroom, the weight of the words sinking in like a stone dropped into deep water. Then, all at once, the murmurs began, soft at first, then growing, swelling into a tide of shocked whispers. A princess with no elemental affinity? Impossible, unheard of. The royal bloodline The royal bloodline was the most powerful among the Fae, their lineage woven with magic since the ascendance of the first High Fae. A child of the ground born without power? It hadn't happened in centuries. If word of this spread beyond the palace walls, the thought sent a ripple of unease through the gathered nobles. Their kingdom was built on strength, on the unshakable might of the ruling family. A single weakness, one chink in the armor, and their enemies would come crawling at their gates. And now they had one. The ballroom stood st- the ballroom stood in a stunned, suffocating silence. All eyes remained fixed on the princess, who had lowered her arms and bowed her head in quiet shame. Then, from the shadows, the danger lurking in the dark finally struck. They came from everywhere, pouring through the windows, descending from the open ceiling, bursting through the great doors on either side of the room. Strange creatures unlike anything the Fae had ever seen. They were tall, unnaturally so, towering over even the strongest warriors. Their skin was ghostly pale, almost translucent, stretched too thin over their bones. Their eyes burned with a deep crimson glow, and their mouths, those jagged, twisted grins, revealed long, glistening fangs, like beasts from the darkest forests. One of them, seemingly their leader, stepped forward. The crowd instinctively shrank back. With deliberate slowness, he reached out, seizing a young Fey girl, barely past childhood, but by the jaw, forcing her to face the room. Greetings, Your Highness, steamed gas, he announced, his voice dripping with cruel amusement. His gaze swept over them all, revealing in their rev- reveling in their fear. We are here to celebrate tonight, to celebrate the princess, to celebrate the full moon, to celebrate our birth, to celebrate the revelation that your precious princess has no power. His lips curled into a wicked grin. And, most importantly, to celebrate the fall of the royal family. Then, when a grotesque display, then, with a grotesque display, he bared his fangs wide for all to see before sinking them deep into the girl's neck. Her scream pierced through the ballroom, a desperate, chilling wail of agony. The sound paralyzed the crowd, their disbelief rooting them in place as the monster fed. The girl's body convulsed before finally falling limp in his grasp. When he released her, she crumpled to the marble floor with a sickening thud. For a heartbeat, there was silence. Then, chaos erupted. Guards stormed in, weapons drawn, clashing with the invaders, but no matter how many strikes they landed, the creatures would not fall. Blades and arrows torn to them, yet they did not bleed. They did not flinch. They only kept advancing. Guests fled in panicked frenzy, desperate to escape the massacre. Others attempted to fight, only to be cut down in mere moments. The royal family was torn apart in the confusion. The queen darted through the fray, frantically searching for her daughters while keeping herself hidden from the monster's sights. The king, sword in hand, battled furiously, yet each of his strikes proved useless. The creatures were unstoppable, unkillable, and amidst the bloodshed, Princess Echoring stood frozen. She had already been in shock, reeling from the revelation of her lack of power. And now this? This had to be a nightmare. A cruel, twisted nightmare. Where was there was no way this was real. There was no way. A flash of movement. Something was coming straight for her. Her body refused to move. At the last second, instinct took over. She threw herself inside just in time. She threw herself aside just in time, but not unscathed. A sharp, searing pain tore through her arm. She gasped, clutching the wound, crimson staining her fingers. Her attacker loomed before her, licking the blood from his claws with a slow, deliberate motion. His eyes gleamed with a sick pleasure. Delicious. Her breath caught in her throat. A chilling realization settled in. She was prey. Panic surged through her veins. She turned and ran. The creature pursued without hesitation. Echoing sprinted through the palace corridors, her heart pounding in her chest. She knew this place better than she knew herself. Every hidden passage, every twisting hall, she used them all, weaving through the grand stage in a desperate attempt to escape. But her hunter was relentless. No matter how fast she ran, he was always just behind her. I can't run forever. I need to do something. Akarin's mind raced as she darted through the corridors, her breathing sharp and uneven. Then she remembered there was a passage leading to the library, hidden behind a heavy curtain on the wall. It was guarded by two imposing suits of armor, their massive axes crossed in an eternal stance of vigilance. If she could make it there unseen, she might have a chance. But there was one problem: the blood. The crimson trail followed her every step, betraying her path to the relentless hunter on her heels. She bit down the fabric of her dress, tearing off a strip with a sharp tug, wrapping it tightly around her wound. She winced as the makeshift bandage bit into her skin. It wouldn't stop the bleeding completely, but it would have to do for now. Now she needed to track him before he tracked her. Carefully, she eased the door open, peering into the dimly lit corridor. No sign of him. She exhaled, relief flooding her chest. Then a shadow moved. Her pulse slammed against her ribs as a dark silhouette crept into view, prowling just beyond the corner. The only way to the passage was down that very hallway. Her muscles tensed. She moved swiftly, gliding from one pillar to the next. Her breath shallow. The sound of his footsteps echoed closer, each step slow, deliberate. Then he passed by. She pressed herself against the cold stone, her heartbeat hammering in her ears. Then, without warning, he turned and entered the next room. The moment the door clicked shut, she ran. Down the corridor, left turn. There, the statues stood tall, their metal frames looming like silent guardians. She lunged forward, crawling between them, yanking the curtain aside. The hidden door was there, right there. But what if it was locked? Her heart pounded as her fingers closed around the knob. Claps. A slow, mocking clap echoed behind her. Her breath caught in her throat. Her muscle in her body seized with terror. She didn't need to turn around to know who it was. The monster. His voice was a velvet whisper laced with amusement. Oh, princess, princess, princess. Did you truly think you could escape me? I could smell your blood from the ballroom. She swallowed hard, forcing herself to keep her voice steady. You seem to be the only one, she shot back, since you were the only one here. He chuckled. Low and predatory. Oh, them? Don't worry about them. They are useless idiots. Pawns to be discarded. He took a step closer. And besides, I'm a little possessive and get jealous easily. Let's not talk about others when we're having such a lovely time together. Speak for yourself, blood-sucking freak. His expression darkened. Before she could react, he lodged. She twisted the knob in a desperate attempt, then froze. What if someone was already inside? What if she wasn't the only one who thought the library as a safe haven? She couldn't take the risk. Instead, she forced the knob to stay still, pretending the door was locked. Then she turned to face him. By the time she turned around, he was already on her, his hand, cold, unrelenting, wrapped around her throat, lifting her off the ground with terrifying ease. She crawled at his grip. She clawed at his grip, kicking wildly, but it was of no use. He was just too strong. The world blurred at the edges. Her lungs screamed for air. Through the haze, she saw his face, his grin, that sadistic, bloodthirsty grin. Was this really the last thing she would say before she died? No. With every ounce of strength she had left, she thrashed harder. It's no use, little thing, he murmured, his voice silk over steel. Just let nature follow its course. She forced out a ragged breath. You are one to talk about nature. Her strength was failing. Her body grew heavy. Black spots danced in her vision. Then her foot struck something solid. One of the metal suits of armor, barely standing, hanging by a thread. Before she could even process it, the heavy figure toppled over, its massive axis following suit. A flicker of awareness crossed the monster's face. Time slowed as he realized that it was what was happening. He was immortal. He would heal, but he needed a plan. He decided instantly throw her against the wall, step back, avoid axis, and then finish the job. He hurled her against the wall. Pain exploded through her body as she slammed into the cold stone. Then, slash! The axis came down. One cleaved straight through his neck. The other carved his body in half at the waist. Acheron stared in horror. The sight was more brutal than anything she had ever seen. Even in death, his severed head still bore that twisted grin. She watched and waited. Waited for him to move, to piece himself back together. But he didn't. Her breath came in red gasps. The adrenaline began to drain from her body, and that was when she felt it. A sharp, searing pain unlike anything she had ever known. She looked down. Her left hand was gone. A choked sound crawled at her throat, but she swallowed it down. She wanted to scream from pain, from fear, from the unbearable weight of what had just happened. But she couldn't. She had to survive. Biting her lip until she tasted blood, she ripped more fabric from her dress, wrapping the wound as tightly as she could. Biting her lip and then she turned to the hidden door and crawled inside. It was agony. Every movement sent fresh waves of pain through her body. But she didn't stop. She couldn't. She dragged herself forward inch by inch until she saw the faint glow of light from the other end of the passage. The library. Safety. At last, she reached the door, her vision swimming. With her last bit of strength, she knocked. Once, twice, 3 times. Silence. No one answered. Her body betrayed her at last. The world faded, and then darkness. When Acheron woke up, she was lying on the lap of her older sister, who was sobbing uncontrollably.
I can't believe that it's real. Her sister's voice trembled, broken by choked sobs. One second, guys. I have to fix something. Okay. Seeing Akron like this, battered, bloodied, barely holding on, it was too much to bear. Hey, Akron rasped. Akron rasped, her voice weak, laced with its usual defiance. Calm down. I'm alive, aren't I? You should be happy. That only made her sister cry harder. In the corner of the room, their youngest sister sat curled up, her face streaked in silent tears, but her sorrow was laced with something sharper: fear, devastation. Dear Dad, she whispered, voice trembling. Dear Dad, dear old Dad. Stop saying that! The eldest the eldest snapped, her grief suddenly twisting into anger. Before anyone could speak again, the doors to the library burst open with a deafening crash. Two figures stepped inside. The light was too dim to make them out. Their silhouettes loomed as they moved forward, slow and deliberate. The girls the girls held their breath. Their hearts pounded in unison. Then, my girls! The mother's voice, hoarse with emotion, cut through the darkness. She rushed into the room, her composure momentarily crackling looked as she took in the sight. Her eldest daughter cradling Acheron, the youngest curled in a corner, the room heavy with grief and fear. She gasped but quickly forced herself to recompose. Equine did not fall apart. Not now. Without hesitation, she gathered them into her arms, pulling them close. Come here, she whispered, reaching out to the youngest. The girl crawled forward and threw herself into their embrace, and for a moment, the world disappeared. They clung to each other, sobbing, shaking, alive. But fear still lingered, because none of them knew how long this fragile blessing would last. The king stood watching, emotions crashing over him like an unrelenting storm. Turmoil, despair, terror. But above all, one truth burned in his heart: his family could not be lost. Not just because he loved them with every fiber of his being, but also because they were the future. The survival of their world depended on the royal bloodline. If they perished, all hope of withstanding the dark fate would perish with them. His gaze shifted to his queen. A sudden determination flickered in his eyes. She met his stare, confused at first, until realization dawned. She knew what he was planning. Wordlessly, she rose and stepped toward him. Together, they began gathering the candles, bringing them to the center of the room. The girls watched as their parents clasped hands, their fingers intertwining, their voices rising in unison. The words they spoke were unfamiliar, ancient, powerful. The air around the air around them crackled, heavy with unseen energy. Mama? Papa? The youngest voice wavered with concern. What are you doing? Worry not, worry not, they answered in perfect unison, their voices calm yet resolute. They did not stop chanting. A sudden crash shattered the moment. The doors to the library slammed open, the force of the impact rattling the very walls. This time, they knew. No friendly face stood in the doorway. Two of the monsters emerged from the shadows, their grotesque sight barely illuminated by the flickering candlelight. And they were not here to talk. Look at this,
The king have gone mad. No, the king and queen have gone mad. One of the monsters sneered, amusement lacing his voice. I guess desperation makes you do anything. The other chuckled in reply. The king stepped forward, releasing the queen's hand. In a swift motion, he unsheathed his sword. You know that won't work, don't you? One of the creatures taunted. I can at least try until my last breath. Last breath it is. The beast lunged at him, but just before he could strike, flames erupted along the king's blade. The sudden heat forced the monster to recoil, if only for a second. Oh no, he has tricks, the second one mocked, unfazed. They surged forward again, when nearly reached the king, only to be blasted backward by a powerful wind barrier that appeared seemingly out of nowhere. The queen, one of them growled through clenched teeth. I got her, the other hissed, shifting his attack toward her. But the king blocked his path, standing firm. Your opponent. I'm your opponent, coward. Fight me! And fight they did. The king swung with all his might, his burning blades lashing through the darkness. The queen, though no warrior, summoned barriers of wind to shield him, straining to hold them steady. Yet she couldn't keep up. The king took hit after hit. Meanwhile, Acheron's eyes fluttered open. The muffled sounds of battle reached her ears. She struggled to move, her body heavy, her voice weak. Mhm. Papa, she rasped. Her elder sisters knelt beside her, helping her sit up. The head, Acheron whispered, forcing the words past her parched throat. Cut off his head. The eldest daughter's eyes widened. Aim for the neck! She shouted. The king stilled himself. As one of the monsters launched, he anticipated the movement, and with a powerful swing, he sliced through his throat. For a brief moment, relief washed over him. No, the head, Acheron gasped. Cut off his head. Realization struck him like a bolt of lightning. His grip tightened, and without hesitation, he brought the flaming sword down again, this time severing the creature's head entirely. For the first time, hope flickered in his chest. They could win. But then he heard the gasp. He turned. His sword slipped from his grasp, clattering to the ground. The second monster had her. The queen dangled lifeless in its grip, her body limp, her soul drained. The king dropped to his knees, exhausted, his strength abandoning him. His vision blurred as he looked at his daughters. His lips moved, silently forming the words, I am sorry. I am sorry. Then claws ripped through his throat, blood sprayed, his body crumpled. A choked sob broke the silence. The eldest daughter clenched her jaw, pressing Acheron into their youngest sister's arms. Her eyes burned with fury and grief. Without a sword, without a word, she picked up the father's sword. Flames roared back to life along the blade, illuminating her resolve. The monster chuckled. Oh, you can do the little trick too, huh? Darling, your father couldn't defeat me. Do you really think a little princess can? She didn't answer. With a scream of pure anguish, she charged. Ah!
The monster sidestepped the monster sidestepped, laughing, until the searing edge of her blade caught his left arm, slicing through the flesh and burning him deep. His expression twisted into rage. With his uninjured hand, he struck, his claws sinking into her stomach. She gasped. Then he flung her aside, her body landing limply beside her sister's. Acheron couldn't breathe. Her mother, her father, her sister, all gone. She said, frozen, staring at the scene through a haze, her mind slipping away. She saw the dinner table, the way her mother had pleaded, trying to prevent this. She saw her sister following her, trying to change her mind. It all made sense now. They had they had just been trying to protect their family. Me, Acheron whispered. It's all my fault. All me. All me. All because of me. What are you saying, Aki? Her sister cried, tears streaming down her face. It's the monster's fault. Her voice pulled Acheron from the Her voice pulled Acheron from the trance. The present came rushing back. Bloodied bodies, the suffocating weight of grief, the unbearable loss. Then the pang hit. A piercing, agonizing scream tore from her throat. A piercing, agonizing scream tore from her throat. A sound so raw and so shattering that it seemed to shake the very air. Her body convulsed. A burning sensation spread through her veins like molten fire. Her head splitting as though it would crack open. She arced against the ground, writhing, her form barely holding itself together. The monster took a step forward. He didn't understand what was happening, but he knew she didn't have powers. This would be even easier than the others. Or so he thought. The moment he reached for her, flames erupted along his outstretched hands. He howled, jerking back in shock. Then, before his eyes, horns began to sprout from her head. The gashes on her body closed. Blood stopped spilling. And where her severed hand had been, fingers emerged. Slowly at first, then rapidly until a new hand formed entirely. She opened her eyes. There were no pupils, no irises, just blinding, incandescent light. She rose from the floor, gaze locking onto the creature that had massacred her family. Hatred, pure, seething hatred, radiated from her in waves stronger than anything she had ever felt. She had no control. She had no control now, only instinct. The monster turned to flee, but in the blink of an eye, she was upon him. Her hand closed around his throat. He barely had time to gasp before she lifted him effortlessly, his feet dangling above the ground. You will pay. Her voice was deep, menacing, otherworldly. And then, with nothing but her bare hands, she tore his head from his body. The pieces fell to the floor with a sickening thud. Silence. She turned to her only remaining family. Are you okay? Her sister couldn't speak. She could only nod, trembling. Without another word, Acheron turned and left the library, closing the heavy doors behind her. The youngest was left alone, surrounded by the corpses. She slid to the ground, hugging her knees. Tears spilled freely now. There was nothing else left of their peaceful life. As she sat there, drowning in grief, a soft glow flickered in the corner of her vision. At first, she ignored it, but the light grew stronger, brighter.
until it was nearly blinding. She turned her head, her breath hitching. The mirror, the one mounted on the wall beside her, its surface shimmered, pulsing with light. And then realization struck her like a thunderclap. Her parents, the candles, the strange language, their deaths, their blood, their killer's death, his blood. She knew exactly what this was. She had found a book once, tucked away in her father's private shelves. The moment he caught her reading it, he had ripped it from her hands. She had lied, saying that she had only just discovered it, but in truth, she had read half of it. Some parts were difficult to understand, but the concept was clear. It was a ritual to open a passage to another world. Of course, such things were strictly forbidden, especially for the royal family. Their duty was to their people, to the Fae. Now, staring at the glowing mirror, realization struck her like a dagger to the chest. They were planning to die all along. But how? How could they have known she and Akarin would succeed in killing their killer? Her head spun. Did they know she would? No, impossible. They had simply trusted them. That was all. She was so lost in thought that she didn't notice the slightest movement behind her. And then her breath hitched. She whipped around. Her sister was breathing, slow and shallow, but breathing nonetheless. Her eyes widened in shock. She stumbled forward, her hands trembling as she reached for her. The wound gone. The bleeding had stopped completely, as if she had never been there at all. Didn't Akarin? She whispered, barely able to comprehend it. Healing powers weren't unheard of, but this? A wound so fatal, so absolute, erased completely? She shuddered. My sister. She is. She couldn't even finish the thought, but the realization opened her eyes to something else. She knew what she had to do. Help! Help! Akarin, help! She screamed with everything she had, praying her voice would reach her sister. She couldn't leave, not with her unconscious sibling beside her. This was all she could do. A minute passed, then 2, then 5. Her heart pounded violently in her chest. Please be safe, please be alive, we need you, Akarin. Then the doors burst open. Where are they? She lifted her head to see her sister standing in the doorway. Akarin was covered in blood. For a split second, panic flooded her veins. But then she realized none of it was hers. Relief crashed over her. Over here! She shouted, scrambling to her feet. I heard them from here. Akarin followed her, still cautious. Are you certain? She asked. Her voice was heavy with suspicions. How could anything be inside the mirror? Oh, but after everything they had seen, who was to say what was impossible? Yes, I am. The moment Akarin approached the mirror, her sister shoved her forward. A sharp gasp. Wide, betrayed eyes. A hand reaching out, desperate to grab onto something. Akarin fell into the void. Their eyes met one last time. The younger sister mouthed the words, I am sorry. A single tear slipped down her cheek, and then Akarin was gone. The mirror flickered, dimmed, vanished. She had done it. She had fulfilled her duty. She had protected the descendant. Minutes later, the doors slammed open again. Guards poured into the library, searching frantically. Your Highness, are you well? Then they saw the bodies, the blood, the wreckage. Over here, she murmured weakly. They rushed toward her. The third princess! Two guards carefully lifted her and her unconscious sister into their arms. What happened to the monsters? She asked, already knowing the answer. One of the guards let out a breath of disbelief. Another monster appeared and slaughtered them all. A weak smile crossed her lips. Then, everything faded to black.
Mummy! Why is that girl sleeping in the tree?
A curious little girl tugged at her mother's hand, pointing excitedly. Shh, sweetie, pointing is impolite, her mother whispered, hastily pulling her away. Come along now. The girl on the tree stared at the sound of voices. Slowly she opened her eyes, letting out a soft yawn as she rubbed the sleep away. She blinked. The sky above her was unfamiliar. The trees, the sounds, the air, none of it felt like home. She sat up, scratching her arms before. She sat up, stretching her arms before hopping down from the tree with ease. Where am I? She wondered for a while until she spotted a small building in the distance, people moving in and out of it. Curiosity sparked in her chest. She approached. When she stepped inside, an unpleasant smell grew in the air. She wrinkled her nose in distaste. Maybe this wasn't such a good idea after all. She was about to turn back when something caught her eye. A mirror. It hung on the wall beside the entrance. Simple yet clear. She stepped toward it, hesitantly, and froze. The girl staring back at her was unfamiliar. Her own reflection was a stranger. Yet, strangely, she felt no fear, no panic. She tilted her head, studying herself. She mused aloud. She didn't remember who she was. She didn't know how she got here. But somehow, it didn't seem to matter. I guess I'll just live life, she decided, hands on her hips. And eventually the memories will come back to me. With that, she turned away from the stage-filled place and strode forward, determination in her step. She didn't know what had happened before, but she was alive. And if this was a second chance, she would seize it with everything she had.
Woohoo! Yay! Woohoo! Let me fix this now. And that is it. That is my character's lore, my character's story. Fernandinho, man, how dare you? You missed the Portuguese stream. I even waited for you for a few minutes. So disappointed, so sad. How could you do this to me? Wow, that was fun. You are impressed? Excuse, is that supposed to be a compliment? My gosh. Yeah, oh, wow. Okay. Okay. That's how he compliments people, everybody. Listen, you weren't complete garbage after all. Good job. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, I have a question. I want to see... Shut up, Fernando. I want to see if anybody can guess what was the smelly building that she found. Here. Hi. Hi. Were you were listening on speaker? Man, you were supposed to listen to it on headphones, you know, to be more intense inside your head. I'm supposed to be in your head. My voice acting scream? What do you mean voice acting scream? Was only natural to scream when the characters scream. Isn't that how you read a story properly? I mean, so does anyone know what the smelly building was? I was curious because in my head everything made so much perfect sense, but I know not everyone, you know, it's in my head. I almost feel bad for your dog. Almost. I'm really curious to see if people can guess it right. Can I be the first to show them new things, or should I let them discover them on their own? No, you can definitely do it. You can be part of the stream. But we are not there yet. We're talking about the lore still. I'll be presenting the model soon in a few minutes. So and then you can go outhouse. Oh, well, so I don't know what an outhouse is, but so the tree, like where she was, I guess I didn't explain. Sky, I don't know if you're still there, but hi, thank you for coming. She was supposed to be, that was supposed to be a park, like a public park, and the building was supposed to be the bathroom. You know, there's like a small building near the trees, people coming in and out. She's like, oh, what's going on in there? And she walks in and it stinks. And she's like, ugh! And she turns around to leave and then she looks at the mirror. That was the idea. I just wanted to see if more people envisioned it like I did. Did anyone do that? Envisioned it the same way I did? Huh? Because like if not for a bathroom, right? What else could be a stinky building near trees there are people coming in and out of? I only have one thing to say. Is an outhouse a public bathroom? Fernandinho, shut up. Shut up. Go away. No, not today. My family watched the stream. My god. Yeah, not today, not today. Where is Grandma Lynn? We have to release our character. She has to be here to see it. So, oh, okay, since you're here already anyways, and we finished the story, what did you think? Like Lunason? What do you think of the story? You know, the funny part, which it's not funny, but like I wrote that 100% ADHD based. I procrastinated all like a proper ADHD brain. I procrastinated all week, and then this Saturday of the stream, the Brazilian stream, I sat down at 11 p.m. No, the day before the stream, I sat down at 11 p.m. and wrote for 7 hours straight. Really? You do? Oh, that was so interesting. Like I said, I was very insecure about the story because I really did write in a rush. It was very, 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 very rushed. I did my best to keep it as short and small as physically possible, and I still came out with 26 pages. And I was afraid that that would take too long to read it on stream. I was afraid people would get bored, but it seems like people have liked it. So come on, you're not telling me no notes, right? There's no way. There's no way you're giving me no notes. I will convert them to worshippers of the Borongodongs. Oh my god. Fernandinho. Stop. I'm glad it was exciting. I was afraid of like, is there too much? Is there too little dialogue? Does this story make sense? Because some people on my other stream got a little lost on what was going on. So I was afraid as of like, did I not convey the story properly? Of like, was I not clear about everything that was happening? But I enjoyed. I actually really enjoyed writing that quite a bit, and honestly, that expired. That expired me. That inspired me to. I don't know. I want to start writing short stories. You know, short stories with a beginning, a middle, and an end. Um, that are short, of like, I don't know. This one's about 26 pages, but maybe 30 pages or less. Yeah, because I want to keep it short. I want to keep it concise. But I want to make it cool. I don't know. Writing that was very, very exciting. It was a lot of fun. That made me want to write some more. Fernandinho, shut up. Okay, so is Grandma Lynn here? Because I need her here so I can show off my model. Would we get a sequel? For this story right here, or for the future short stories that I was inspired to write? In the meantime, I'll just watch and eat. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. You have your time to shine. This story specifically. Okay. So, most likely, yes. So here's the thing about this story. This is the background story of my VTuber character, right? This shadow right here, this mysterious shadow is my VTuber character, which I'm going to introduce it to you guys. So this is to explain who this character. This is like most VTubers have this because they play a character, quote unquote, sort of, and they have a story for like who their character is, what their character is, where they came from, etc. So technically, quote unquote, her Akarin, which has become Aka, right? Was transported to this world, and she lost the memories in the process. And somehow I figured out she figured out life and became a streamer. So that's kind of like the idea. But I do plan in actually writing more to like keep going, because money is cool and I want to make money. So I do plan on writing more of her story, just because it's just so fun, of like her life in in not real, but like her life in our world, and how she went about it, discovering and finding out things and living here, and slowly recovering her memories, and then going back to her world in order to, you know, go back and perform her duties. Because even though she's the middle child, she was the descendant of the first, right? So by right, the crown is hers, not her sister's. So she technically has to go back to claim the crown. And there's a lot of things that I imagine about this story. So I definitely want to. I'm not saying that's gonna happen soon, but I definitely want to see this story continue, because it would be a waste, right? Not to write some more. And then in the further future, I think it would be cool to write a story about in more details about the legendary three, the first three fairies. They started the war and stuff. I thought it would be really cool to see into their lives. Just like in the movies, they have one, two, and three, and then four is like the beginning before everything happened. That crossed my mind. I think it might be interesting. Why do you ask? Are you interested in the continuation of the story? Want to see how she she goes about life in our world? But here, there's a catch. Spoilers. Aww. Thank you. I almost don't recognize you. You sound so nice. Uh, so the catch is clearly, obviously, our world doesn't have magic, so she cannot open the portal to go back. You know yourself. Excuse you. So someone would have to open up the portal from the other world and get her to go through it. But I don't know if you remember the price to open the portal is very, very high. It's a very complex ritual. So yeah, I I personally I like this story. I was a little insecure about it because I didn't know how people would think of it, because I felt I did rush over things a little bit because I needed to get it out. But I don't know. In the end, it felt, I don't know. It felt somewhat balanced, right? It felt okay. Let me see. Okay, are you going to do a giveaway here too? Fernandinho, I'm not doing the giveaway here only because most people watching me here are my family and friends IRL, and they don't play games. So no. Thank you for the likes, people. Mina-san on TikTok. Let me see. Okay. So now we are going to introduce. Oh. Now we are going to introduce ourselves, my character. And I will officially become a VTuber from now on. Let's see. How do I do? Oh, filters. Oh, look. Look how cute I am. Do you like my shoes? Ooh. 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 Oh yeah, by the way, I have to send you the my first draft so you can compare them. Oh my god. Oh boy. Let me see here real quick. What is your email again? Mr. Lexon? Hold on. I'm trying to find it by cause you sent me. Oh, I found you. To-do. Okay, here. I'm going to be sending you right now. Raft. Yeah. Your email is so funny. I'm just okay. Do I have? Yeah, I do. Don't I? Where's the first one? Hmm? I don't? Hold on. Oh. No, no, I have to. Oh, gosh. It seems like I have to download it. Why do I not have the rough draft? It's so silly. Oh my god. Oh no, okay. Wrong email. Why is this being so hard? I don't like this. It was supposed to be easier. Oh, there you go. Is this the original one? Yeah, yeah. This is it. Found it. Now let's download it in PDF. Now we can go and upload it to our email. Da-da-da. There you go. You see how the first version, it's really a lot shorter. It was only 11 pages. I can't believe it took me 7 hours just to write that. That was so disappointing. Look my knees. I look like a gazelle. Look at how my my legs are. I feel like a gazelle. Wee! Wee! Must be so nice. Miss Kitty. Okay. So, this is me. The new me, I mean. And now you're all creepy nerds because you guys like to watch anime girls on stream. So, because you've been so supportive of my story, I will definitely send it to you first as soon as I write a sequence. But before I do that, I want to, like I said, I want to write a lot more short stories. That I want to write concise stories, and I want to just pour a bunch of ideas to what's the word? Harnessed? Is it the word harness? My writing skills a little better because I feel like I feel like I'm not very good of a writer just yet. I'm not completely satisfied with my writing. So in order to harness this skill, I want to do a bunch of short stories, kind of like this one, you know, 20 to 30 pages long with a nice beginning, middle, and end, and see what can I do, you know, how far I can go. And honestly, I have ideas for like the far future of this universe, of this world. Okay, I remember the story that you read a long time ago. It was like 3 paragraphs. It was really short. But there was a queen sitting by her desk and she was worried, and there was like a school invitation. I don't know if you're gonna remember this. I don't know if I'm being too vague or what, but this is from this universe. This is from this universe, yes, but it's far into the future. It's far into the future of this universe because there will be the way that they found to try to find peace is to unite all and somehow unite all of the Fae again, but not too abruptly because that would be too much of a sudden change, right? And that wouldn't work. So the way that they're gonna do it is by building a universal school, a school that's open to every race, to I mean, mostly fays, but a school that's open to all. And then they will start the peacemaking by sending their kids to study together. And basically, the old generation is going to stay the same, but they're trying to build peace for the future. So the kids will kind of grow up together around each other and learn about each other and the other races and whatnot, and hopefully build peace that way. So, and then then there's like a whole story. There would be five protagonists. There'll be five heroes. I guess that's how you say it. That we are gonna follow. There'll be like a group of five friends, and we are going to follow them in their journey of acceptance, of like accepting each other and becoming friends. And I already imagine, like I already pictured in my head a small like novel, as like a small short story of like each of their journeys, and then them coming together, like after. So after I write their story together, I write one story for each of them, of how it was before they met, or stuff like that. And all of that, can you believe it? All of that came into my head because I was thinking I wanted to make TikToks. I wanted to record TikToks, and I wanted to do cosplay. I want to cosplay characters. So I wanted, because I wanted the story to make sense. I wanted to have characters because there's another TikToker that I like very much, that she has like simple, but she has characters that she does the things with, and I wanted to have characters too. But in my head, I couldn't have the characters unless it made sense. So I started creating a story for them in my head, and I was like, okay, they have to be in school. They have to hate each other for some reason. So they're a bunch of different races, or like magical races, and they don't get along, and then something happened, and then they get along. Was that the other creator doing stuff about ghosts? No. The person I'm talking about is someone else. But that girl doing the ghost story, she was amazing too. Like every character, she did different voices for them and personalities, and she had like the perfect look. She was making like, that was a film. That was absolute cinema. I loved her videos with the ghost stories. That was really good. That was so well done. And the ghosts crossing walls. I still want to know how she did the crossing wall effect. That was so awesome. That was so amazing. Woo! Look. Guys, I'm a cute anime girl. Yay! She looks so much like me. I'm gonna cry. Hold on. Let me put right here. And then that's it. My face is a mystery. Let's hide my face only. So yeah, but that girl also inspired me because I loved her series, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to do a kind of series for TikTok, but then I was like, okay, but I need to create a story in my head, and then I started building, okay, a school, races that hate each other for some reason, and then okay, there is definitely a fairy, and then there is a vampire, and there was an elf, but now there are no elves anymore. They're all just fairies, but the fairies are different fairies, just like humans, you know. There's the whites and the blacks, and that's basically how the fairies are. They are somewhat different depending on what their blood is. There's the chaos fairies, the order fairies, and the high fae. That's like the nobility. And then there will be vampires and werewolves. But the vampires and werewolves are abominations. Like, they didn't exist. They were... what was the word? They were created, you know? But they were, like, fakely created. I don't know. I forgot how you say it. Shut up, Fernando. It's like a Frankenstein project, okay? I'm not a vampire. I'm a fae. I'm the queen of fae. How dare you? I need to get myself some wings so people stop talking about that. What else? So yeah, and I start thinking about all of that because I wanted to make a TikTok. Can you believe it? And of course the character, quote unquote, that I already portrayed on stream was going to be a character. I was a dragon before, and then I changed it from dragon to fae. Mm. And she was like the main character, obviously, right? It's my character for streams and videos and stuff. So I started to build the world around her, but I didn't know how, like the story I just read, I didn't know it was going to be like that. The story, it came along as I started writing. The only thing I knew is that she was royalty, you know, she would reign at some point in the future. Um, and what else? I forgot. But yeah, I already have ideas for the present and for the future of this story. I have more ideas for the future than for the present, to be honest. But I do intend to, especially as I keep on creating content, you know, as I keep streaming and making videos and whatnot. If I start becoming really popular, it will be really cool to have more and more people interested in my story, and I will be able to, you know, if I start making money and stuff, I'll be able to have more time to write and be able to sell the story. I think that would be awesome. But yeah, I do have plans. Not sometime soon, cause like I want to become to get better at writing before doing too much. But yeah. Okay, let me see. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Let me call someone. Because she needs to be here for the grand review of of me. Of the new me. Where is she? Where's she? My phone? Because I don't have a lot of time. Okay, there you go. Let's see. Stop calling me a vampire! You're like reading the story. Where's Kurokawa at this time? Good question. He didn't show up today at all. Not even a little bit. Huh? Are you watching the stream? Wow. You have to watch the
Well,
face
I
reveal
appreciate you stalking harder.
right now. Yeah, because we are at the end. Yes, you do. You can. Huh. I'm watching you. You have to type in chat so I know you were there. Okay, I brought our soldier. Dark Knight, welcome to the team. Thank you so much for joining us. Klaus, welcome. Gente, some of the effects are not working here just yet. Hey, okay. So, this, by the way, you know, because you missed it, these are my very awesome, pretty shoes, and then my gazelle legs. Then this is my beautiful outfit that it looks exactly like my actual clothes. Just want to point that out because this character is definitely identical to me and what I actually look like in real life. And for the final surprise of the night, dun, 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 this is, oh no, hold on. I present you Aqua Noir! Woo! There you go. This is me. Hello. Hold on. Hello. How are you? Welcome to my stream. Thank you so much for waiting for this moment until now. Yeah. Look how awesome I am. Ha. Hehehehe. To dainty English. Oh my god, you're so cute. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. She's stop waving. The button's not working. There you go. Yay! $10. $10 my ass. Don't you dare. So, and this is how I'm going to be making content from now on, right? This will be my like avatar on the stream and on videos. What do you think? What do you guys think? Does she look like me? I tried to make it as similar, like as close as possible to what I used to look on stream. And I don't know. Was it spot on? Is it identical? Are we twins? Huh? 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 What do you think? Hehehe. What do you mean? There are no haircuts. Haircuts? What? Oh, the hair. The hair. Yeah. We have hair. I think. Oh, it's because I didn't set up the English streaming stuff yet, so that's the problem. But yeah. Yay! I love it. Yeah, she looks like you. Oh, see, this is perfect. So you don't think that I'm weird? You don't think that? Why is this not working? Seems pretty cool. Oh, you like it? Surprising. Not gonna lie, I'm surprised that you think this is cool. But isn't it actually awesome how this like technology has come such a long way? Because as you can tell, right? This is my own movement. She's just copying everything I do over here. I speak, she speaks. I move my head, she moves her head. Hold on. Let me show you guys something extremely cool. So, if I get angry,
she'll get really angry too.
now, if I get surprised, oh, my pupils dilate. Isn't it cool? And look how responsible the ears are. Look. Oh! Isn't it super cool? Ah, this is awesome. I gave refunds on all redemptions. Thank you, Rex. Thank you so much. I was going to my live. Good night. Oh, good night. Okay, I'll see you soon over there. Fã clube dos Borongodongs. Borongodongos fan club. Fan club dos Borongodongos. Vocês não prestam, meu Deus. So, okay, then there's like other things that we can do. We can now cry on command. Oh, hold on. This is me pissed off. When people piss me off in my stream and they mute my microphone because they can actually do that. And that's annoying. Hi and bye, obviously. So, this is how I feel when people subscribe to my channel. Yeah. And I can cry on command too. Please. Could you please subscribe to my channel? I never asked you for anything. Could you do me a favor just this once, please? I beg of you. Subscribe it just once, please. What else? Oh, I have the little hand here, so I can be like cute and stuff. Oh. And there's this. I can become a Neko-chan. A cat girl. You know, most people's worst nightmare. I think this is really cool. This really matches. I don't know. It's just fun. It's pretty fun. I'm surprised nobody bought Neko today on the stream. I just realized it. That I haven't looked like a little kitty cat at all. And then we have my nerdy looks. So now I'm definitely smart because obviously I have glasses on, so therefore I'm smart. Everyone knows that. Is that canon to your story too? Or is that just extra? You mean all these things that I'm showing right now? So this is just fun just for the stream. Um and the stream is supposedly canon because like that's what happened to Akarin. She came to this world and then she started um she found the internet and she started playing video games and watching anime and streaming. So yeah, this can be canon. Can be considered canon. Rex, I think it's time to use that. Yeah, yeah, you know, we just want to see the glasses. Yeah, I know. You guys, you all love a smart girl. That's for sure. So this is what happens when you give me more than one sub. Okay, I told you I didn't set up my English stream yet, so I have to put it manually. So I can get shy. I don't know if you guys can you guys clearly see the blush? Because in my opinion, I feel it's almost unrecognizable. Because look, no blush, blush. No blush, shy, not shy, shy, not shy, shy. Can you see the blush like clearly, or is it hard to detect? Oh my god, boys, get out of here! And then there's this, and I have to fix this. This is not fun. What else? Oh yeah, and then I can change my hair because it's so much fun. Hmm. Hello. And do. Ta-da! Okay. I think I don't know why. I think this hair matches the glass as well. I think it makes me even unbelievable. Unbelievable. I told you guys, you can't be weird here. My family watches this stream. Why did you do this to me? Why? Just why? Why are you like this? My gosh. So now what am I gonna do? I'm gonna finish the stream whispering. This sucks. I'm very unhappy about it. I'll have you know. I'm extremely unsatisfied with this turn of events. Why would you do this? What's wrong with you? Yeah, sure. You have power, and I don't like it. Not one bit. She's not closing her teeth. I want to close my teeth. It doesn't work. Whatever. Oh my god. Stop it. Stop being weird. My family is here. Oh my god, you guys. These are the longest 3 minutes of my life. For those who are here. For the few people that are still here and don't understand what's happening. On this stream, we have something called ASMR. People can buy it with points. And if they buy it, I have to whisper on the mic for 3 minutes. So yeah, I am only allowed to talk like this. So, I have 1 more minute to go. I deeply apologize for my chat doing this to us. Seriously, this is unbelievable. I think I'm gonna end the stream with this hair. This hair looks really good, in my humble opinion. Yeah. I don't know which one is my favorite though. Because this one looks really good, right? But this one, oh not this one, but this one looks so cute. She looks so innocent. Oh my god. Okay, okay. Thank goodness. What am I gonna do with you guys? What am I gonna do with you? Tell me. What? 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 Why are you like this? Anyways, my computer is about to shut off by itself because that's how my life works. That's the only way I get things done, by being very forcefully pushed into doing it. Hold on. It's so funny how she does this when I'm drinking water. You like the glasses? Thank you. Apparently, a lot of people here like my glasses too. I think chat loves the glasses. So, I want to thank everyone who was here this whole time, who listened to my story, and that shared this moment with me. I'm so glad you guys came here to listen to me babbling, yapping, and reading. I really hope you enjoyed yourself. I'm very thankful for the feedback. Ha ha. Ha 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 ha, otário. Klaus tried to shut up my mic? Klaus! I feel so betrayed. Anyways, thank you so much for everything. This was awesome. This was very fun. And honestly, writing this lore rekindled my desire for writing, you know? At the beginning, it was really hard. I tried to write throughout the week, but I couldn't find in me to write it. I don't know why. It just never came to me. I wrote a few paragraphs and then I didn't feel like continuing. But in the end, I pushed through and I did it, and I'm so glad I did. And now I feel like writing again. And it's all thanks to you guys a little bit. So thank you and bye bye. I'll see you next time. I hope you come join me soon. I'll be streaming on Wednesday. And I'll see you then. Bye bye. Good night.
I'll see you next time.